And again, thank you so much, everyone. Good morning. And I'm absolutely excited to welcome you all to a morning with Dr. Habib, an event dedicated to celebrating the vibrant and diverse communities within Arab culture. My name is Reina Ferrufino, pronouns she, her, and ella, and leading our DEIB efforts here at college. Once again, truly deeply thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Rania Habib, a distinguished professor of Arabic and linguistics, and also the program coordinator of the Arabic program at Syracuse University. Ooh, like Dr. Kate Smith does her woo, so it's catching on. Thank you for joining us today. Dr. Habib's expertise in social linguistics, bilingualism, and cross-cultural communication is truly remarkable. Her research focusing on linguistic variation and change in Syrian Arabic provides really invaluable insights when it comes to the complexities of language and culture, as well as your extensive scholarly work and research, Dr. Habib. Once again, we are extremely fortunate to have you here today to share your knowledge and experiences with us. I also want to, of course, extend a warm welcome to Dr. Kate Smith, president of Rio Salado College, whose commitment of diversity and inclusion has really been instrumental in helping lead different DIB efforts, initiatives, and really shines through throughout every interaction I see with you, Dr. Kate Smith. So thank you for being here today. And if you would like to share a few words, we would be honored to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Raina, and colleagues. Please join me in thanking Raina for her leadership in helping not only bring today's event together, and Dr. Habib, we can't wait to hear from you. I'm so excited to meet you. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Rochester, New York, so know Syracuse very well. But colleagues, please join me in thanking Raina for her efforts and supporting the DEIB Council. And thank you to all on the DEIB Council for leading this work and really helping move our college forward. So, again, we're just excited to have Dr. Habib support all of our efforts and share with us in our learning journeys. We're so excited to have today to recognize and celebrate Arab American Heritage Month. And colleagues, I'm not sure if you're all aware, I believe Arab American Heritage Month was first recognized by President Biden in April 2021. And that was in a recognition and celebration of the over 3.5 million Arab Americans that we want to recognize and celebrate the significant cultural contributions, educational contributions, leadership contributions across the entire spectrum of our country and our society. And just to recognize the very diverse cultural heritage spanning 22 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. So I just want to encourage all of us to really dive in today with Dr. Habib to really appreciate this time. We get to have such an expert. If you get a chance to look through her vast different articles, book chapters, presentations she's done. I don't know about you all, but I'm like, I gotta get that. I want to read that. It just looks fascinating and so interesting. So I just invite you all to just dive in today to really enjoy this time, actively participate, and really express our appreciation and respect for our Arab American community. And the role it has in shaping our collective future. So thank you so much, Dr. Habib. Reina, I hand it back to you.
Thank you so
Amazing.
much. Go ahead.
Oh, both of our names are so similar.
Yeah. What a coincidence.
Oh, Rania, does your name mean queen as well, or in Arabic, or does it have
Rania
a
in
meaning?
Arabic does not mean queen like in Indian, but it
Oh,
means someone who's looking at the beautiful scenery and contemplating the beautiful scenery.
ooh, such deep meaning. I love that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing me new names. I'm
Yeah.
always interested. Like I said, I had Googled a little because I was like, ooh, what a beautiful name. But just some logistics before we get started, if that's okay. Um, we are going to have like shared, Dr. Habib is going to share her lovely presentation she's thoughtfully created. Then we'll have a Q&A time, and you're always welcome to use the chat like you're all already amazingly doing. But if you also feel like you would like your voice to be heard, and so we could also see your lovely face, when it comes to the Q&A, please use the raise hand feature, and I will go ahead and unmute you, have you come in here in the main screen, and you could ask all the questions that you would like. So thank you once again, and please take us away, Dr. Habib.
First, let me thank you, Reina, and thank Dr. Smith for the lovely introductions and for this invitation. I'm really happy to be here to celebrate the Arab American Heritage Month with all of you. And thank you for this really wonderful introduction. So I will start. I will first tell you it is very tough to explore all aspects of Arabic culture. Not even a course in Arabic cultures would be able to cover everything that you want to know and everybody wants to know. But I tried to pick and choose certain things, and I hope whatever I present would be the beginning of more knowledge that you can acquire later on, doing your own research or reading more, etc., etc. So do you see my presentation now, Reina?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and move. So first, I want to state that the Arabic society is very diverse and very complex in a way because we have still different cleavages within society, and a lot of people do not know that, and maybe certain representation of the Arab world is maybe stuck in the minds of certain people, not knowing that we have so many different peoples and different ways of life. So for example, the Arab world still has the three divisions in society, where you have the Bedouins who live usually in the desert, and they can be nomads or none. They could be actually settled in certain parts of the desert, which could be like oasis kind of like. And we do have rural people who live in villages, maybe do like agricultural work and raising cattle, etc. And we have the urban as well, the urban cities that are mainly industrial. Most of the institutions of society are in urban centers, like religious institutions, industries, white-collar jobs, etc., even universities. But also, I want to indicate that also the idea that everybody lives in the desert is not true. We have different landscapes. We have the mountains and the sea and the desert and the plains. And so the idea that everybody has a camel or a horse, that's not true. And the idea that everybody dresses in the same way is not true either. And the idea that everybody wears a head cover is not true either. We have people who dress in Western clothes, like you see in the picture on the left, on my left. You see also different types of houses. You can have very modern houses with brick roofs and you know, as you can see in the middle picture, and you can see people living in the desert where maybe they manage in different ways. But the most important part in the Arab world, despite these differences and different ways of life, still family is the most important part in society, and family ties, and not only among core family members, but extended family is also very important, and relatives and friends are also very important. And oftentimes you see people living close to each other to stay close to family and to support each other socially, and whether it has to do with taking care of children, etc. Also, I should mention that the Arab world also, even though the majority religion in the Arab world is Islam, but this is not the only religion that exists in the Arab world. And this is very important to indicate, because yes, we do have Christians, we do have other religions like, for example, Druzes, and well, these you could consider, some of them consider them their own separate religions, but some of them consider them part of Islam. But we do have Druzes, we have Alawites, we have Jewish people, of course, and Jewish people are not limited actually to the state of Israel, but we have Jewish people that lived throughout history in most Arab countries, including North Africa and the Middle East. Many of them have immigrated to Israel after 1948, but we still have some Jewish people distributed, minorities, of course, in different Arab countries, but the same applies to Christians. Many of the Christians now live in Lebanon, Egypt, and Syria, but there are very small minorities left in Iraq and Jordan and Palestine as well. And so, so this is important to know, and it's important to know that we have also different ethnic groups, and these ethnic groups range from the ethnic group Arab, and I'm talking Arab as an ethnic group, not only as a language, because it is like any other ethnic group that originated from Arabia, but also we have ethnic groups that are given the same name of their religious association, like Druzes, Alawites, Circassians, and many others as well. Maronites and Jewish people as well they consider themselves to have, and Copts in Egypt, of course, who consider themselves to have their own ethnic background. And now I move to family and the roles of in society. Usually family, as I mentioned, is very important, and men and women get married in order to have kids. And men usually are considered the breadwinners and the head of the household, and the children and wife should respect their opinion and follow their guidance and instructions. Women are expected to be the home keepers, although this is changing a lot nowadays in the Arab world, and they are the ones who take care of children and household chores. As I mentioned earlier, clothes can vary from one country to the next, and from one religion to the next, and from one area to the next. So people dress differently in rural, urban, and Bedouin regions, and also ethnic groups may have their own traditional clothes as well. And as I mentioned, the hijab is not every woman in the Arab world wears the hijab or the headscarf, and like I mentioned, some people can dress in very Western-like, and some people may dress covered from head to toe. So the idea that everybody is covered is not true. Even the hijab could have many different forms, and you could see somebody like this person with no hijab whatsoever, and then like with only covering the hair but dressing Western clothes, and then you go here where you see covered from almost head to toe, and here you see someone who's dressed very modernly, even very revealing in certain areas as well. What's interesting in the Arab world is that marriage is the business of the whole family. So everybody try to give their opinion, and approval is sometimes required of at least the father and the mother in the family, if not the brothers and sisters, or grandfather and grandmother, and even sometimes uncles and aunts. And so it is a big deal, and marriage from different religions can be frowned upon usually, and the man usually is the person who, in Islam, the man is usually who initiates the divorce by telling the woman that she's divorced. But also we should understand that divorce is different from one religion to another, and also we should understand that in certain situations, women, however, could request a divorce in certain situations, like if the man is impotent or not providing for the family, the woman would have the right to get a divorce. But also some women, especially from prominent families, sometimes they request before signing the marriage contract that a condition be placed in the marriage contract where she requests that she has the ability to initiate a divorce regardless of the reason. So, but this is usually frowned upon by the family of the man, so that's why oftentimes we don't see this happens in marriage contracts. With regards to emotional expression within social interactions, Arab men and women openly express their affection in public, and I don't mean towards the opposite sex, but towards like people, their relatives, friends, and family members from the same sex. And they usually show enthusiasm, warmth, and happiness towards others. And also they do this but without necessarily sharing their personal information in public. They don't like doing that. Sometimes Arabs raise their voices and they get emotional sometimes when discussing political topics and even regular everyday issues, but people may think that they are having an argument, but in reality, they might be only discussing produce and money. And so this could be very normal to Arab people in the Arab world, but Westerners may find it odd. They may find it weird that some Arab people are arguing with a clerk at a grocery store over the price of an item, for example. Also, at funerals, women are very vocal and show their feelings openly, and they may beat their chest or tear their hair or like pull their hair or tear their clothes or something like that. Men are more controlled in this sense, although it's not uncommon for sometimes to see some men expressing their also feeling openly in public as well. Weddings are also places where people express their feelings openly, their happiness, they do sounds like you know, or even sometimes they do some poetic expressions and you know, so it's very happy occasion where people are very open about expressing their feelings there. Expressing feelings and emotions can be also associated with certain greetings. And when you meet someone and you greet them, sometimes people are very enthusiastic that they spend greeting each other for more than a minute and shaking hands and how's your family and how's your mom and how's your children and all of that kind of one after the other. This is sometimes, of course, accompanied with kissing, hugging, and holding hands, which can last for a short period of time. Also, Arabs have usually different expressions with different events, which sometimes is very uncommon to Westerners. So, for example, people in the Arab world often use the word naiman, which is derived from the word pleasant, which is usually said after someone taking a shower or after a haircut. Of course, mabruk, like congratulations, is said in multiple occasions. Allah yirhamu, which is God have mercy on his soul or her soul. It is said upon someone's death, and Alhamdulillah ala salama is said like after having an accident and surviving, or after returning from a trip or something like that, which means praise God on your safety. Kissing and hugging and holding hands is common in the Arab world, even among only same-sex people. It is not acceptable for the opposite sex to express emotion towards each other in public. It would be interpreted differently. It would be actually, it may ruin someone's reputation, especially if they are single. Usually Arabs from the opposite sex will acknowledge each other in public if they know each other, but they will not smile or speak softly to each other, but they will not really kiss or hold hands. Definitely even among married couples, or even a father and a daughter, sometimes showing too much affection in public is not acceptable. It depends also on the region and the people, and sometimes the religion as well. But definitely kissing on the lips is not accepted in the Arab world, even among married people. And usually among friends and family members, air kissing on the cheeks is more accepted. Men can show affection towards each other in public, which is not common here in the West, especially in the US. And they can hold hands in public, and it does not mean they are homosexual. So it should not be interpreted this way. And those of usually men from the upper social class or higher social status usually would receive kisses on the cheeks, and kisses can differ depending also on the region, the country, etc. It could be one kiss on the cheek, two kisses, or once on the cheek and once on the other cheek, or so, and back and forth, or something like that. Some parts of the Arab world may have other forms of greeting, like men kissing each other on the chest or the nose or the upper arm, or even touching nose and back and forth. So also it's a contentious issue in the Arab world is that, like, if a man asks another man about their wife, or a woman asks another woman about her husband, this is considered disrespectful, and it should not take place. It is considered like it may be taken the wrong way, like as if you have an interest in another person's wife or another person's husband. So unless you know the people very well, try to avoid asking someone from the opposite sex about their wife or their husband. What is the elderly have very special status in the Arab world. They are very highly respected, and if they enter the room and there is no empty space for them to sit, someone has to stand up and sit them down, for example. It's not acceptable for them to allow them to stand up and you sitting down. And the children learn these things from childhood, to respect the elderly and never speak up, never really argue with them or disagree loudly with them, or you have to really show a lot of respect towards the elderly. And it is also not accepted in society to send the elderly to nursing homes. If you most families find this disrespectful, and in the old days, because oftentimes women did not work outside of the house. Now things are changing a lot nowadays, because a lot of women are getting higher education and working outside of the home. But because women stayed mostly at home, it was highly disrespectful to send the elderly to nursing homes while someone is at home. With regards to social etiquette, a big deal about leg crossing. In Western society, it's okay to cross your legs in public, and it's okay to show the sole of your feet or your shoes. This is considered highly disrespectful and a great insult in the Arab world, for example. As for pets, the Arab world has very strict rules regarding which animals can be considered house pets. And these restrictions are sometimes dictated by Islam. Because in Islam there is some hierarchy with regards to God and other creations. So God is at the top, angels come after, and then humans, and then animals. But cats, birds, and fish are allowed as pets, but dogs are only allowed as watchdogs or police dogs. Nonetheless, of course, Arabs do grow cattle, sheep, and goat for milk, cheese, meat, and trade as well. Regarding home visitation or dinner, people in the Arab world visit each other all the time. It's totally different here in the West, which we totally miss here in the West because we work a lot and we don't get to see friends and relatives as much as we want. But in the Arab world, people may even knock on your door in certain regions without even a previous notification, and they just come for coffee in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening, and you know, have conversations and good time together, and talk about each other's problems, etc. Usually, if you are invited to dinner, oftentimes you are served nuts and seeds for appetizers before the main meal, which will include, of course, different types, maybe beef, chicken, lamb, fish, or even in some places, camel meat for the main dish and with rice. But you will have also different other maybe appetizers with that. At the end of every meal or visit, it's very, very important to serve coffee. Without serving coffee, like as if you did not serve, even if you have served like tons of food and tons of other drinks, you still need to serve coffee at the end to show that you really completed your hospitality towards your guests. And usually after a meeting or dinner, people will walk with you all the way to your car, if you have a car, or to the door or to the street, or but if there is rain, they may just walk you to the door and wave goodbye from the door, but they will never close the door or turn off the light until you are totally gone. So this is out of respect and honoring the guests. Doing business in the Arab world is very much similar to any social interaction. The familial situation in the Arab world leads to this kind of a similar interaction in business. They want to create this relationship before they even make business with you. They want to make sure they can trust you. They want to make sure that they can rely on you, that you have, you know, the characteristics that they want in a person, because unless they can build that trust and that strong relationship, it will be difficult for them to do business with you. So for them, that's why for them it is very important to have this connection. It could be sometimes in certain situations more important than money, basically the price of your product and the quality or the performance of certain products. And that's where there is some difference also between Arabs and Westerners, where Westerners usually rely on objectivity and logic, whereas oftentimes Arabs may rely on subjectivity and personality and personal relationship. Also, Arabs, usually it's very hard for an Arab to say no to somebody. And that's why oftentimes at the end of a business negotiation, sometimes the Arab will not be able to say no if they don't want to do the deal, but they may say something like, inshallah, like God willing, because it would be tough for them to say no. So Westerners usually are characterized or are driven by a sense of completion, self-reliance, and hard work. Arabs are often driven by cooperation, loyalty, and consensus. And that's why doing business in the Arab world requires this building of trust and loyalty, etc. Hospitality is a big deal in the Arab world, and as I mentioned, they try to offer a lot of food if you go to visit their home, and even very poor people sometimes offer a lot of food. And during Ramadan, for example, people usually fast from from dawn to dusk, from food, drink, smoking, etc. But even during that month, if you are visiting on a business trip, they may offer you a drink or something, but maybe people should decline because they want to show respect towards their time of fasting. But when they break their fast, the breaking of fast is very social, family event. They invite family members, relatives, etc., and they make a lot of food and dishes. Actually, a lot of people save a lot of money for Ramadan to be able to celebrate with family and friends as much as possible, and that's why. So this brings us to the diversity of Arabic food, and in Arabic tradition, most places they usually, especially in restaurants, you can order meza, which is different small dishes before the main meal. Can constitute of multiple. You can order as many as you want, like different meza. Some of them you may be familiar with, like hummus, tabbal, kibbi, tabbouleh, fattoush, grape sleeves, or and these are just before the main meal, and usually the main meal would be either barbecued of different meats or a mensaf, which is like rice with meat on top and nuts and etc. So these are usually, and sometimes at home, when you are invited at home, you may get some of these meza and along with main dishes as well. How am I on time, Reina?
Please continue. This is we're here for you. So
Okay,
yeah, if you'd
good.
like to take another 5 minutes or so, we could have some time for Q&A.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So as regarding hours and work habits, Arabs are usually, so the working hours in the Arab world could be slightly different, especially when it comes to businesses and shops. Oftentimes Arabs may open late morning until like about 2:30 p.m., go home for lunch, nap, etc., and then go back and open their business like from 5 or 6 p.m. to 8 or 9 p.m., and then have late dinner at night. Usually the day off is Friday because it's the majority of people in the Arab world are Muslims and they pray on Friday. So that is usually the day off. But now many Arab countries have adopted as well the 2-day weekend. But usually adopting the 2-day weekends would be either Friday and Saturday, most likely Friday and Saturday. Very rarely in some countries they adopt Sunday, but the reason they adopt Friday and Saturday is because they are consecutive days, and that's why. Also, prayer is very important for Muslims in the Arab world. They usually pray like 5 times a day, and they call for prayer, and the prayer itself could be heard through the microphones of mosques in the Arab world. They take prayer very seriously, but they can stop it when they have sensitive military issues or crisis or security issue. In that case, they can understand why. But of course, I must mention not all Arabs are highly religious. Some people may not follow this, but often many people do follow this. Also, with regards to attention to details, Westerners are sometimes much more precise and exact in giving directions. For example, I am like myself as someone from an Arab origin. When I came to the US, like they would tell you, you have to pass 3 traffic lights and then you turn right, and then you're going to see 1 traffic light and you turn left, etc. You don't see that in the Arab world. Arabs give simple and general directions. I will say, go in this direction, and then you wonder, okay, they expect you then, as you go along that direction, you may ask someone else, and then the other person may give you extra direction and so on. So they never give you really a detailed direction. Also, Arabs hate failure and hate to admit failure because failure means shame, and shame implies dishonor, and dishonor is greatly avoided. And that's why it's very difficult for an Arab to hear that you are wrong. So it's better sometimes to address an Arab by saying, maybe this could be done in a better way. Dating is unheard of in the Arab world, in most Arab countries. It's probably now slightly more open in Lebanon, but not among all, also not all communities. And men and women usually meet through relatives, acquaintances, or during their university education. They may date secretly, but if this is known or becomes known, their reputation may get ruined, particularly women. And until now, being a virgin at the time of marriage is cherished in women. And I think I'm going to stop here, and because it would be very difficult to display other things. It will take time, but I welcome any questions. Thank you, and shukran. Shukran means thank you as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Habib, again for taking your time. I know you're doing like the finals week over there to help us gain a further understanding when it comes to Arab culture and some social and cultural practices that are valued within the Arab community. We do have some questions. I don't know if anyone would like to raise their hand and voice those questions, or if I should just go through the chat. But if you, once again, if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand so I could go ahead and unmute you for you to personally ask that question.
I can see
Let's
Min
go.
Wain Inti. Min Wain Inti, this is an Arabic question that says, where are you from? And I'm happy to say that. I am originally from Syria, and but if I go to my roots, like 300 years back, it's actually the origin is from a mountain in Lebanon, but they kind of moved to Syria. Well, at that time, there was nothing that is called Lebanon, Syria, or Jordan or Palestine. This division happened in 1920. So it was at that time what's called Greater Syria. And that's why the movement between one region and the next was not a big deal. So, but that's where I was born. I was born in Syria.
Lovely. Thank you, Dr. Habib. I'm seeing different questions. Want to make sure that reading through. So let's see. There's a question here from Ali. Is there a time when someone should skip fasting during Ramadan, medical issues, etc.? I love the stopping by for coffee tradition. I'm assuming this is skipped during Ramadan. Are there other times the coffee tradition is considered inappropriate? Good question.
Yeah, during Ramadan, definitely there are certain conditions where people are not required to fast. If they are sick, they have to take certain medication. If also if women have their monthly period, they are excused. But then the idea, they have to redo them some other days, like after this condition passes, for example. Young children also are not very much expected to fast during Ramadan, but definitely if you visit someone during Ramadan, you may, if you are from the same religion, you are not expected to have any drinks or anything of that sort. And however, I must say, some people nowadays secretly may have something away from the people they know, like maybe a cigarette. They are not supposed to smoke during Ramadan, but some people do it in secret or something like that. And yeah, but yeah, among people who know what fasting is, it's not expected to have any drinks, even water. You're not supposed to have water even.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Habib. And I have a follow-up question. How do you think institutions of higher ed could support students or faculty members or staff that are practicing Ramadan? Any thoughts on
To be honest, in Syria, because Syria, when I was there, I've been here for over 21 years, almost 21 years now. But even before that, Syria used to take everything in a secular way, in a sense that if you are working, you are supposed to do your work regardless of whether you are in Ramadan or not. Even during in public offices, you are not supposed to pray during even the day, even if it's a prayer time, because they wanted to implement that. But of course, other countries have different rules. Like in Saudi Arabia, actually, they used to have mandatory prayer that everybody had to go to prayer during the prayer time, even if it's working hours. And so, here, I always say, you know, if you are fasting, um, you are fasting because you really want to do it with between you and God. And I don't think, just like in in many Arab countries, I don't think it should it should be imposed on others, like to really give too many accommodations, because it becomes difficult here, especially with how people work here, especially if it's not done in all Arab countries.
Thank you for your perspective. And I would imagine, given the diversity within the communities, that folks might feel different ways. And like you said, in Syria, there's this practice of uh, separating perhaps, or a personal choice. But I think it also is insightful to consider diversity and how we can the Arab community as well. We have a question here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and move you to stage. Um, I see here, and please, you feel free to unmute yourself or show your lovely face. I know you have a question.
Oh, I have two of them. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we could hear you. Would you like to ask your two questions, please?
Yeah, my first one is how many people convert to Islam in America? And the other one is someone's question about how about Arab questions? Arabic questions or something?
What was the question about Arab Christians?
It was someone's question.
Sorry.
I don't know who's.
They just added in the comment, but whoever had that question, I'm not sure. If you could expand on the question about Arab
Ryan, I think.
Christians, please go ahead and
Mine only question was how many people convert to Islam in America?
That's a question I don't know. I don't think anybody would know unless there are some statistics out there that can tell us how many people converted to Islam. I have no idea.
Okay.
And that's totally fair. We could definitely more than happy to do a little bit of research and go ahead and send you all an email at the end if that's of interest.
Are women
But thank
allowed
you.
to drive in Syria? Certainly. I used to drive in Syria. Women are allowed to drive. I mean, women are Syria is a very open country. Even other Muslims in the Arab world sometimes criticize Muslims in Syria because they are more open, supposedly, than other Muslims, like in the Gulf region. Things change, however, from one period to the next. It depends on the political situation. Sometimes the political situation can influence how people behave, even with regards to their religiosity. So that could play a role for sure. Have you been able to visit Syria since you came? Yes, I have visited Syria multiple times. I only stopped for 7 years during the first 7 years of the war. And I was able to go after the war 3 times after that 7-year hiatus, basically.
Awesome. Thank you. And I see here a comment from Habib Matar. Do you see any Arab clubs or organizations within Maricopa? This is one of the first Arab centered events I have seen in years. And personally, just starting my role, about to be 3 months. I haven't, so I wanted to make sure that we have representation, that we hear voices, that we get to learn from different expertise in the field. So that's what really prompted this event, and it's something that I had mentioned to Dr. Habib. Um, so once again, thank you, just to showcase again the importance of your presentation today.
So I see some people are interested in knowing more about the Arab Christians. I'm very happy to tell you more about this. Arab Christians have played a significant role in the Middle East and especially in Egypt. But particularly in the Middle East, they have historically played a significant role in education, in reviving the Arabic language, and they still contribute significantly, especially in countries like Syria, Egypt, Lebanon, Jordan, and Palestine. Iraq also had a lot of Christians. Unfortunately, during the war, they were kind of driven out of Iraq, many of them. There is a very small minority now. But Christians live in certain countries, especially like in Lebanon and Syria and Egypt and Jordan and Palestine. They have very normal lives. They coexist very peacefully with Muslims and other religions. They are the minority, and they may not have the same power like Sunni Muslims in Syria, for example, or Alawites in Syria, or Sunnis in Egypt, of course. But they love education. Most of them are very highly educated. They like their children to get highly educated. So they usually have less kids than Muslims in general. Muslims like, for some reason, they have the belief of having more kids because God has ordained that they have as many kids as possible, and that God provides sustenance to each kid. The Christians do not have the same belief. The majority of Christians in Syria, for example, are Orthodox Christians, but there are also other denominations like Catholics and Evangelicals and Maronites. And in Lebanon, the majority are Maronite, and then followed by Orthodox. And then in Egypt, you have the majority of them are Coptic Christians, but they follow similar Orthodox church rituals as well. And the Christians, as I mentioned, they have led some important revivals of the Arabic language because in the late 19th century and early 20th century, especially because the Ottoman Empire, remember, ruled 400 years the Arab world. And during the Ottoman Empire, actually a lot of reversal because there was suppression of the Arabic language, and there was a lot of reversal in science and language, etc. So the Arabic language, because of illiteracy, was almost dying. And because of the Christian missionaries that opened schools, and these missionaries were joined mostly by Christians, the revival of it, and they encouraged the teaching in Arabic, and so that caused or led to the revival of the Arabic language and bringing it back instead of it dying out. So I would say they have played a significant role historically in many ways in the Arab world.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Rania. We also have a comment here from Habib Matar, which I'm going to go ahead and place him here on the main stage and unmute. And just about the concept of religion, from my personal experience as well, I went to Turkey, and everybody coexists. It is a lovely country with a lot of advancement in education. And I think it's important for us to challenge any stereotypes or generalizations when we come and think of Arab communities. And it's really beautiful to see different elements of the Ottoman Empire. You see Christianity, Muslims really coexisting, helping celebrate one another as well, but understanding that different practices when it comes to religion, but as people, there are beliefs that are truly important here. I'm not sure. I saw a little reaction there, so that got me distracted. But Habib Matar, we going to place you here. Yes, feel free to unmute yourself and share your own experience.
everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfectly.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I first want to start off. Thank you so much, Dr. Habib. I'm actually sitting here with my family, working from home right now, and we're all enjoying, laughing, and excited about the information that's being shared. So thank you for that. So I'm from Lebanon. I am an Arab Christian, which is a minority. Um, One thing that was already mentioned, so Egypt and Lebanon, typically you'll see a Christian population, like Dr. Habib had mentioned. Um, and on top of that, yeah, there's this common misconception that um, maybe those of the Muslim faith and Christians don't coexist within the country. We do. Um, there are sections, like in Lebanon, there are certain villages that are predominantly Christian and uh, villages that are predominantly Muslim as well. Um, Typically, you'll see issues come around with more like politics. Usually on the governmental stage, you'll see those kinds of differences become pronounced. But if anyone has any questions on Arabs and Christianity and how that is oriented, you're more than welcome to send me an email. But I really do want to say it's very rare to see anything of Arabic culture, especially within the Maricopa space. I'll say we've been representing a lot of different cultures predominantly the past 10, 20 years, but I've rarely seen Arabs. So it's very nice to see something like this. And thank you again.
That's really heartwarming. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's just we were talking about family and to knowing that you're smiling and celebrating and having this moment with your family. It's very heart and warm for me. And I know Dr. Habib for you taking the time today. And once again, thanks for sharing your voice. And I do think when we talk about DEI work, we need to consider representation all across the board and voices that are not often heard or feeling a minority within a minority. So I know that's definitely a priority. For me personally, I know Dr. Kate Smith, again, has been so supportive with different efforts. So thank you all so much. I want to share a resource that I have prepared for you all. I'm sorry if the link looks very extensive, but these are resources that you could check has different information for student and staff. So it has information of our library and book resources, Arab Association, scholarships for Arab students, some films you could check out to learn a little bit more, and some volunteer opportunities. And with that, I think we're coming close to time. And Dr. Habib, want to give you the floor as well. If you'd like to share any
I want
last
to
words.
really thank you. I think I appreciate this this initiative. I do appreciate that some people are thinking of doing this because a lot of people have misconceptions and misunderstandings about the Arab world and about Arab people. They have, and this often due to misrepresentation in the media and in the news as well. So it is very important for me, and that's why I accepted this invitation. I accepted this invitation because I feel I have a duty to also educate people about what Arabs are and to show people that Arabs can be different people from different backgrounds, from different perspectives, from different even looks, different whatever you want. So we have diversity, so much diversity within the Arab world. As much as you have diversity in the United States, we have probably more diversity in the Arab world. And I really thank you for doing this. And I hope you continue your successful journey with, creating these important and very educational programs and seminars that will help people to understand different cultures and other people and that come from different backgrounds. And this will lead to better communication among cultures. By understanding other cultures and understanding where they are coming from, you will be able to put yourself in their shoes and think and try to understand them better and see why people can be different. And So I guess thank you so much, Reina. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for this kind invitation, and I hope I have been able to clarify some some aspects of the Arab culture.
Lovely, beautiful job. Thank you for your words. We so appreciate for having you once again, and really have inspired us to continue this work. So thank you so much, Dr. Habib. Thank you all who have joined. Again, there's that resource. There's also a survey. I probably might email you all in case, so you can let us know about today's event. What are some things you learned, some thoughts? Anyways, thank you, Dr. Habib, and I hope you
Thank you.
continue having a lovely rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.